Ross Bjork with the Jeff Traylor interview. Got to tell you, it's a good move. And the report is that it went longer than expected. It was supposed to be, 30 minutes, and it went over.
Now 90.
90 minutes. Probably like 30 minutes allotted time.
Got to win the interview, and I feel like Jeff Traylor would do a good job winning that interview, selling himself.
There's no question he would.
Yeah.
He's like I said, he fits. It's a great fit.
Well, especially if you consider that Ross Bjork on Sunday, when having a press conference to announce the dismissal and the buyout of Jimbo Fisher, said the program was stuck and was looking for its RC Slocum.
Yeah. I remember RC. RC is the reason I stayed in the state of Texas. He told me as a young 17-year-old, if you want your mom and dad to go to all the games, you need to go to school in the state. And he did not specify A&M. I think he assumed A&M, but he did not specify. He was just talking to me as a young man, and it did click. Like, oh man, I want mom and dad to go to all the games. So I immediately, I think within that week, I cut out all the other schools that were in contention, which were Colorado, Florida State, and Pitt State. They were out of the state. And I just went with Texas and Texas A&M because they were in the state.
Yeah. No, I think there's
love me some RC.
And look, I mean, we say that a lot. I'm not an Aggie fan, but have covered the program now for 20-plus years. It's a different place. It just is. I mean, some people, Longhorn fans will poke fun, call it a cult, and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
But we just know what it is, right?
Yep.
It's a very conservative school.
Yep.
It's East Texas. It's got its own culture to it, and they're proud of that, and they should be, right? It's got great traditions there. It's a great scene for college football, but you've got to be a good fit for the program. And as you say all the time, right, accurately, the person you married was probably not the one that knocked your socks off when you first saw her, guaranteed. But they're the one that fit what you need done, as in a partner, right? Compatibility, and I just think Jeff Traylor fits a lot of that because he speaks the language, knows East Texas, can recruit like crazy, and he'll sell the interview.
Oh,
anybody who's been around him believes he's kind of like Mac Brown.
No
and remember when he came, I'll remember this. I'll give you another Jeff Traylor anecdote. When he came here, remember he worked for Charlie Strong and he coached special teams.
Yeah.
He won Recruiter of the Year in the 1 year short time he was here.
Yep.
He wowed us, the media. Like we would see him. He's like a special teams coach. Who is this guy from Gilmer? Some of the people who covered high school football knew him already. But we're like, wow, this guy's dynamic, right? And Charlie Strong wasn't the best in a press conference. And some of those coaches that he had weren't. This guy was, you could tell he's kind of a rock star.
Yeah, he was.
Wow, and then of course that led to the jobs he get, climbing the college ladder, and then the UTSA job, and it feels like just been a matter of time before he lands the next. And I do believe this. I mean, I'll say bullish on this. He won't be coaching at UTSA next year.
No, we know that. UTSA knows that too.
If he's not at A&M, he's going to get the Baylor job if it comes open. Houston with Dave Holgerson.
This carousel is going to scoop him up real quick.
And he's a hot candidate for all the reasons we just mentioned. He's just and you've been around the sport, Rod. It's not just about your football X's and O's. That's kind of a small part
of it. Yeah, that's part of it, but not anybody because he's not actually calling plays. He hires himself a coordinator. He wants to be the kind of CEO and oversee the program, every aspect of it, and he's great there. Even in terms of the community outreach and how the program itself is invested in the community. That's been part of his allure too. Is that, man, what he's done to bond and connect the city of San Antonio with that UTSA football program has been unbelievable. I don't know if UTSA and that the community have been this, I would say, this aligned in a long time. Like maybe ever. I don't know if they've ever been. I don't know a lot about UTSA football. I'll admit that. Somebody hit me up with that. But I when I go down there now, and I had a niece that went down there to UTSA as well, there's a different environment and there's a different vibe about UTSA, really sports period now. And I think it starts with the football program, what they've done.
Well, this says my Aggie friends are big mad over Traylor. Feel like they're deserving of a big name coach.
I know. Yeah.
Well, they're called fans. I mean, look, there's no guarantee it would work with Jeff Traylor. I just think he
fits.
He fits well. He brings a lot to the table. He knows ball.
He knows ball.
And we said this before. He's got the. I mean, talking about in the political season coming up, he's got the strong endorsement of the Texas High School Coaches Association. Mm-hmm. You don't think they're going to help that guy wherever they can?
Yep.
Because they see Jeff Traylor as one of their own, right? Which he is, right?
One of us. Well,
when was the last time a high school coach in Texas grew in and took over one of the flagship jobs in the state? There are two flagship universities in the state of Texas. When was the last time one of their own took over one of those programs at the highest level?
I don't know if it's ever happened.
Well, somebody will tell us on the text line. Craig Way might be out there and tell.
But not Texas and Texas A&M. We've seen it with Baylor and other places. We have
Texas Tech with Joey McGuire right now.
Yeah.
But one of their own, meaning cut their teeth, grew through coaching Friday night football,
that's wild.
Winning state championships, climbing the college ladder, and then taking over. That's why they're pushing it. I mean, it would be a huge feather for the Texas high school coaches, but you don't think if you're an Aggie fan that would help you? To have that group aligned with you as well. You said it. You said all the time when Mac Brown got here, he realized real quickly, thanks to Coach Royal, how important the Texas High School Coaches Association were. Now,
figured it out.
When they won the national championship, first for Group P, thanked the Texas High School Coaches because he was recruiting mostly Texas high school players.
Yeah.
And
Jimbo didn't go to the Texas High School Football Coaches Association convention. He skipped it, and then that was, trust me, there was some blowback from that.
Well, think about this. I do the two bi-weekly podcast with Mike Craven of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, their senior writer. There's one coach in Texas. There are 13 Division I programs in Texas that Dave Campbell's covers and Mike covers. There's one that the last 2 years has refused to do the interview for the magazine. Like, just to sit down. Give me 30 minutes, coach. Give me an hour.
Yeah.
So I can write the story of your team to come.
And it's just promoting your program to us.
Right. Well, and every high school coach in the state reads that magazine cover to cover.
Exactly.
Every year. Mm-hmm. But there was one coach that wouldn't do the interview. Nothing against Mike, he said. He just didn't want to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, so you'd be going from that to the exact opposite with Jeff Traylor.
He's a great point about it. I can't believe, why would you do
Mike couldn't figure it out either.
I don't understand the motivation to skip it. You can even do it for like 15. You ain't even got to give him 30. You can give him.
Do it on Zoom.
You can do it on Zoom. That's so, I don't know. That's I can't explain that, but you're right. That's how you lose favor, and that's how you lose support around the state, and that goes to the program being stale.
Well, I can tell you,
it didn't hurt recruiting really, but it hurt support from I think the establishment and the administration, because that trickles up.
Yeah, well, and think about this. Actually, I do know the reason he wouldn't do it. There were 78 million reasons why he didn't have to do the interview, because he had guaranteed contract. He should have. Yeah. But once you give a man that much money and that much guaranteed,
that's true. You're right. You're right. I don't really have any incentive. Everything's guaranteed. What are you gonna do? Fire me? All right, then pay me.
Oh, good.
Fire me, then pay me.
I'm going fishing.
Yeah, you would have hoped that he'd had more personal pride in the job than that, because that was just representing A&M. You should have went to those events.
Yes, that's the thing.
Just because you're representing
pride in the maroon, pride in the program.
Yeah,
Jeff Traylor will have that, and I know. Look, I mean, we're all in Traylor. Mike Elko would too. Mike Elko.
Yes.
I mean, when he left to go to Duke to take over that program and take it to where it's at now, that's when a lot of the cultural issues came out. Right? He was really in charge of that locker room, ran the defense. And think about Mac Brown when Will Muschamp running the defense, right? And he really brought that culture. He brought that intensity. Dick Tomey, while Mac Brown was there, was big on that.
Yeah.
When Mac Brown didn't have that, a lot of times he lost some of those things. And Mike Elko, he's now gone and shown that he can coach at a big time level, right, with the Duke Blue Devils and what he's done there.
I agree.
So that would be an interesting one. But yeah, if you want a big name, Urban Meyer's available.
Yeah, but man, I'm all about getting a splash, because that's what Jimbo was from, right? And I support that move. The extension was a different discussion altogether, but initially getting Jimbo, I thought was a good move for the Aggies. But when you're looking for a coach, you want to make the splash hire, or you want to make the right hire. Sometimes you can do both, but rarely can you do both. And I think they got to make sure they get the right hire. Jeff Traylor, I think, is close to the right hire for them, but splash, they may think they need a splash.
This says, guys, they need more than just to recruit Texas. Does JT have ties to recruit Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, et cetera? If not, then not a fit for the Aggies. Well, that's what you hire your staff for, Rod. You got to hire a great staff, a well-rounded staff. Yep. Because, I mean, this is for any coach. I don't care who you hire. Mm-hmm. Your success or failure is going to be predicated on that first staff you hire, for the most part, right? That staff you build at a program like this, it will be a huge indicator of how you're going to do, because you're only going to be given 3 to 4, maybe 5 years max. Charlie Strong came in, the first staff was good, and he kept rotating defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators. And Tom Herman's first staff, when he got here to Texas, not good enough. He brought all his buddies from Houston, and it just wasn't good enough. Big picture. Well, this is where you'll give Steve Sarkisian some credit. He hired what he thought was a great coaching staff, and so far, I think the results would prove that, he hired some, Kyle Flood and Jeff Banks and PK and what they've done. That's huge, Rod. When you get a big job like this, you've got to hire the right people around you.
Yeah, and you don't have to have, like I said, you don't have to have experience yourself recruiting, certain fertile recruiting grounds around the country, as long as you hire staff that do,
Yeah.
right? That have those connections, and
you become the closer.
Yeah, and then that's what Sark did. That's that's Max what Mac did, but I mean that makes sense. You can't have recruiting connections everywhere. You've only been to so many places, but then you're gonna hire staff like, oh, you know what? I'll take care of California. Sark's like, I got connections in Cali. We good. All right, I got tons of Cali connections. We're good. We go take care of the West Coast. We got PK here. We're good on that. Let's get Bo Davis. Bo Davis is an SEC guy. We need somebody with SEC connections. All right.
Terry Joseph in Louisiana.
Terry Joseph in Louisiana, right? Oh, I need Texas connections. All right, Blake Gideon. All right, I need Texas guys. So and he brought in the Texas high school. Man, I forget the name of him right now. He's in North Texas now. Yes.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yes, I forget it right now. But he brought in multiple different assets from the high school ranks as well, and Jamal Fenner now is on the staff, correct?
Jamal Fenner, from
he's
Austin LBJ.
And I want to say he's the one that replaced
Chris Gilbert.
Thank you very much. He replaced Chris Gilbert, and so I think you hit the nail on the head though. It's all about how you build the staff. If you bring in Traylor, he'll bring in staff that have connections in Florida and in the Midwest and in Louisiana and on the West Coast.
That's what a good CEO does, right?
Yeah, and the Aggie brand is big enough, and they are lucrative enough.
Well, look,
they'll be able to use NIL.
I know you and Longhorn fans. You're a lifetime Longhorn. You kind of scares you to see it. So push back on Jeff Traylor by all means. I mean, because look, if Dan Lanning's your hire, he's going to have to build high school ties in this state, right? Which I'm not saying he can't do, but
you can do.
When you bring in Jeff Traylor, you're with the Texas high school coaches, where you're still going to get and recruit probably 80% of your roster, 75% of your roster. You're on third base already with the Texas High School Coaches Association. Yeah. Dan Lanning would have to build those relationships. He's already got some, I'm sure, but at the same time, you come with that, and then you hire a right staff, which would be key. But I think it would be a good hire. I think it'd be scary for the rest of the SEC and the Big 12 or in Texas personally. But that's our opinions. That's what it's about. Our opinion, your thoughts, and we'll take where the Aggies go. But again, when I'm using Ross Bjork's own quote, where he said, "We're looking for our next R.C. Slocum." Now, does that mean he's got to have a East Texas drawl and speak the language? Well, I think it does. I think there's a big part of that you want someone who fits your program and your culture and because Jimbo Fisher talked like he did, but clearly he didn't. Right? I mean, if you won't do interviews with Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, if you won't show up for the coaches' school and the coaches' convention, you're really not bought into the culture, because you're not selling A&M.
Yeah.
You're making that about you.
I agree.
You're making that about you, not what's good for the school and what's good for the program. It just looks icky. Come on, man.
No, I'm with you. I just said I can't believe that he didn't do the interview with the magazine. But I remember when he decided to pass on the Texas High School Football Coaches Association, and there were some coaches that just straight up offended by that.
Well, think about it. When he got the job at A&M, he's on the cover of the magazine.
Yeah, exactly. So you want us to promote you, but when you need to come down to an event like Texas High School Football Coaches Association and share some of your time, share some of your knowledge, you're unwilling to do that. Yeah, it doesn't look not good optics. And right now the Aggies are dealing with a stagnation in terms of their program. So I knew the move would happen, but now it's clear they didn't have a choice. They didn't have their top choice already picked out. They're doing the research. They're actually doing the due diligence, and I applaud that. They shouldn't have just one singular candidate they're looking at. They need to do research, and they need to interview different candidates to find out exactly what they want. Because I don't think they know what they want exactly. They don't. And why would you? I mean, you right now as a program, you're not sure exactly if you need to go with a guy like Traylor with the connections, or if you need to go with somebody who's been a proven commodity like an Urban Meyer who's already done it. All right. Or you need to go get the fast rising star of the coaching game, which is kind of your Dan Lannings of the world. You got to figure out what exactly you want as a program and what's the best fit for your program.